Hi, I'm Mario Mancini, former WWE wrestler and first inductee into the 2014 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. When I want my wrestling news, I watch the Squared Circle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is June 10th, 2014. You are watching the Squared Circle once again. We are coming to you live here. I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Along, as usual, I am joined by my number one, John Zimmerman, right there. Numero uno. The Thunderous One is off in meetings tonight.
Yeah.
Very, very important meetings. So we'll be here. He's not being replaced because you cannot replace the Thunderous One.
No. He did have a little bit of a scare. There was some violent threats made, and we're not taking this lying down. He has contacted the proper authorities, and things were funny for a long time. We were just joking back and forth, and it's going to a different level now. And Tom, as everyone can see, is pretty much defenseless, and to attack him the way that these people did is just a heinous crime. And the word felony has been floated about, and it depends on where he wants to go with it. That's entirely up to him. And as he said before, he's not my puppet, but if he were, I would have him press the issue all the way to jail time. That would be my decision, but that's up to Tom. Tom is a much more lighthearted person than myself, so we'll see where he goes. But that being said, he has contacted the authorities, and he's going to the Cable Advisory Board, I believe at the end of this month, and there will be some stern action taken.
Yeah, it's unfortunate things that happen that way, and
to encourage people to attack a fellow such as the Thunderous One is just
right.
Absolutely disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. But
we have some positive things to talk about. We're gonna try not to touch on any of that moving forward, and let things happen off the camera.
Yeah.
Here on out. Hopefully things blow over, or things will happen. It is what it is at this point, because the authorities have been contacted. And,
I think there's some sort of restitution that's going to have to come his way.
Right.
As I said, that's entirely up to him.
But anyway, that being said, another thing that happens in wrestling a lot is when a champion can no longer defend his title after 30 days, is that you are a lot of organizations have that in their bylaws, that you are stripped of your championship belt. It is an actual rule and regulation, and WWE has it in their policy handbook, and unfortunately the way it looks is Daniel Bryan will be out of action for quite some time. We really don't know exactly when he'll be back. SummerSlam rumors have been floated around, but don't know exactly. So last night on script, and everybody booed because, in this case, nobody really understands that, this really actually legitimately has to happen. They are just doing their jobs. Triple H and Stephanie, they announced the decision on the opening segment. The Money in the Bank match at the next pay-per-view will determine a new WWE champion. So the pay-per-view is called Money in the Bank, but the actual ladder match will be for the actual title. So I wonder if maybe this just changed the name of the pay-per-view altogether at this point. I don't know. So following last night's Raw, there have been 4 qualifiers so far for the match, and they are Alberto Del Rio, Randy Orton, Cesaro, and the U.S. champion Sheamus. 3 out of the 4 have held either the WWE or World titles before, or both. Cesaro has yet to had never held either belt. So these are pretty good contenders, I would say, at the time being.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, I really think it is unfortunate what happened to Daniel Bryan, but it really plays into the pay-per-view because now you're guaranteed to see a new champion, and I really think it's going to draw a little more interest, and I think Cesaro is going to take it. If I have to make a prediction.
Right. Of course, there'll be more to come.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Depends on who else they throw into that whole mix. But right now, I'd like to see the freshest face out of those 4 is Cesaro.
Yeah, he's got a lot of momentum behind him. His gimmick is very over, and as we've stated on the show before, as far as the fellas in the back, everybody just really respects this guy. He's a good worker. He's one of the strongest guys in the locker room, as far as physical strength goes.
To be able to pick up somebody and turn them around and just swing them.
Yeah, yeah.
I give a lot of credit to the people that are actually on the other side of that move too, because if that was me, I think.
You get a little nauseous at the very least.
Exactly.
But I really think it's making lemons, lemonade out of lemons, and the company overall benefited from this because, like I said, you're definitely going to see a new champion, and people are always intrigued on who it's going to be. So I really think that it's working for them that this happened. And again, believe me, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I feel for Daniel Bryan, but it couldn't have been the worst circumstances for him. Turned out to be the best circumstances for the pay-per-view at the very least.
Oh, definitely.
In the long run, when he comes back, he'll have something to chase, and he'll still be over. He'll still be a fan favorite, and I really think that they can use that to their advantage and have him chase whoever's got the title. And if it is a heel, Daniel Bryan being like their top babyface, if you don't count John Cena, Daniel Bryan being the top babyface is going to have to come back and chase a heel. So that falls into my prediction of the heel Cesaro being the champion.
Out of the 4, let's face it. Del Rio has had it before.
Yeah, and he's got no momentum behind him right now.
He's got no momentum behind him, and he had it at one point, but.
And he's barely hanging on as being in the company. So.
I know. He's almost non-existent anymore. Randy Orton,
useless.
It's not that he couldn't carry the belt for the time being, but he's done it already.
Yeah, and
he's done it about 15 times already. I think.
He's had it enough times, and he's got enough momentum in his character that he doesn't need the championship belt. He doesn't need it.
His character speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're going to have a good match when you see Randy Orton step in the ring.
Yeah.
He doesn't need
to
be a championship
it's going to
contender.
do nothing. Having the belt will do nothing to enhance his character, whereas a guy like Cesaro can go out there and prance around with the belt and give it some meaning and actually wield it for some sort of power and angle. So I really think that it would be senseless for Randy Orton to have it.
Right. So again, the top story was Bryan was not on Raw last night to be stripped of the title. Usually, when a champion is stripped of his belt, they usually appear on camera.
Right.
But they're just keeping him away from the arena right now. He's home, resting, spending some time with his lovely wife, Brie. So the storyline is he's not going to be cleared to compete in June. This is per storyline, and plus sort of reality too.
Yes.
And it will be reevaluated later on in the month to determine when he will be able to return. So hopefully by SummerSlam. Hopefully, by the end of the year, at least.
For his own health and the rest of his life, don't come back too early. Make sure you're 100%,
exactly. Yeah.
so you don't re-injure yourself and be out for a longer time.
Yeah.
And
I'm just speculating.
Looking down
Right.
the road, right? But I mean, looking down the road, I mean, you don't want to end up like Hogan. Is in constant pain. A guy like Mick Foley is in constant pain.
Constant pain.
Can't even bend over to tie his own shoes. And those guys will tell you. Foley is flat out honest about it. Those guys will tell you that they regret some of the decisions they made to stay in the ring and to work through injuries. And I'm sure that played into CM Punk's decision to quote unquote retire.
Right.
And we don't know.
With all of CM Punk's injuries,
Yeah. And he worked injured for a very long time, and he gave a lot back to the WWE for the push that he got. And you don't want to wake up in pain the rest of your life.
Absolutely
I mean, it's
not.
entertaining to us, but these guys, if you look at them, even if they try to eat healthy and live healthy, their body still breaks down.
Exactly. Getting injured is getting injured, and you can't take that back.
Right.
Exactly. So, right, just sit home and rest for now, Daniel, and your fans will be waiting for you when you return.
Yep.
But the other top story in WWE is the random, out of nowhere, basically looks like almost the end of the Shield.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, just with no rhyme or reason to it. Last week, the plan B was, because there's always a plan B, apparently. There's always a plan B.
Right.
Was Seth Rollins, who apparently was the architect of the Shield, the guy that created the whole thing to begin with, turning on his brothers in arms, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, just out of nowhere, and aligning himself with Triple H. Looks like that. You have the new third member of Evolution.
Yeah. Well, Batista leaving, there was a hole in that faction, and we predicted a while ago that the Shield was going to break up. We couldn't have foreseen how they were going to do it like this, but I think it's a good thing, and maybe, as we predicted, Roman Reigns is going to get the babyface push.
Right.
And with that open space that Daniel Bryan's vacating, I don't want to say that Roman Reigns will jump into it, but I mean the opportunity is there.
The opportunity is there if he wanted to.
And depending on how the front office views him, but if he could step into that role and fill at least a portion of it and get some of the fan base behind him, I think it's a positive thing.
Right. What about somebody else maybe joining the Shields? Because we have up-and-comers coming in. A guy signed from Ring of Honor, I believe. His name is Kevin Steen.
Yes.
Don't know too much about him, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, I've seen him work, and he's, as all the guys in Ring of Honor, really, they're all really technically great in the ring. Now, how he's going to fit into that WWE style,
right?
Because there's the indie way of doing things, and then there's Vince's way of doing things, and Vince definitely likes to have all his guys,
work the way he wants them to work.
Right, work in the WWE
right.
Style. So if he can come up to speed, and get that learning curve over, and come in as a WWE guy, he's got a lot of room to grow, and strap a rocket to him and watch him fly. So we'll see where that brings us. But his work in Ring of Honor is really fantastic, and there's DVDs and YouTube videos out there where you can catch him. And I've seen quite a bit of his matches, and I think he's a great worker. I think it should be a good fit if he can deal with the politics. And
there's a lot of politics in the WWE
right.
compared to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and the drastic change of style. Ring of Honor, you pretty much create your own character, and you can be yourself.
Right.
And there's little creative, or there's little backstage politics, according to all the interviews I've heard, and the guys we've actually talked to. So
They basically sit you down and, all right, well, what would you like to do?
Right.
Not what, okay, this is what you're going to do.
Right, and two guys that in Ring of Honor that know each other and want to work together and want to have a program, they bring it to creative and they're let, fly. So the mental mindset is going to be a lot different for Kevin Steen, and if he can make that adjustment, then from here to the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're going from deciding your own fate to somebody else you have to listen to an answer to, just like corporate America, pretty much the way it is. But he could possibly fit in and replace Seth Rollins in the Shield. There's other people coming up from NXT that could do it as well. Sami Zayn possibly.
Yeah.
Another former ROH guy. But Rollins' explanation in an interview with Michael Cole last night for turning on the Shield is that he was always in the Shield for business. It was strictly business. As far as he was concerned, not as far as Ambrose and Roman Reigns were concerned. They were never what you would call, quote, brothers, unquote. And he adapted to join Triple H in the Shield. He adapted to join Triple H after the Shield beat Evolution at Payback, and he's only looking out for himself, trying to get that single competitor heel mode on, coming out in a all jet black business suit.
Right.
Look real stylish, to tell you the truth. I'd like to get me one of those. But
we'll have to talk to the Thunderous one about the budget.
Right, exactly. I can just add it to my collection of Armanis at home. That's all.
There you go.
But looking out for himself only. Where do you see his singles career going? I mean, if he's talking all this, it just depends. I mean, he's got to be able to. He's got to be able to sell it in the ring as well.
Well, I mean, from the work we've seen him do with the Shield, I mean, obviously he's a good competitor. He knows how to wrestle. We haven't really seen a lot of his work on the mic, so that may need some tweaking and some experience. But I mean, his in-ring ability is unquestionable. So it's going to be how look again. There's politics and the character development and where creative wants him to go. And the WWE creative is a bigger machine than any of the other programs out there. So if they give him the right stuff to work with.
I mean, are they going to keep Evolution going? Do you think with Triple H and Randy Orton and Seth Rollins now? That
seems to be the track that they're following.
Yeah, that's probably how they're going to have to start it with him.
Yeah.
Right.
But that being said, then you would have to bring somebody else into the Shield just for the balance of it, to keep the two factions going.
Exactly.
I do like the tag team wrestling, and I thought for a while there that when Triple H took over, that he was getting a little more focus on the tag teams. And it seems to be pulled back a little bit.
A little, not a lot of it, but
yeah. I think there should be at least one segment of the show every week devoted to the tag teams. One match with the people that have the titles, the tag titles, and then another match of two other teams that are going to be chasing it at some point. And you got to build up that story and development, so that you're familiar with these people, and not only that the teams get to work together, because you can't just Jim Ross says it all the time, you just can't throw two people together and expect them to be a team.
And that's what they're doing with Goldust, and they're throwing him different partners now. That's kind of just like a storyline.
Yeah. But I mean, it mirrors reality.
Right.
Two people that haven't worked together before may not necessarily mesh together.
JBL even said that during the match last night.
Right.
Ryback took on Goldust and his partner R-Truth.
Right.
What do Goldust and R-Truth possibly have in common with one another?
Right.
In real life? Let alone, they're individuals. Goldust is a big veteran. R-Truth is a veteran too, but they've had different careers paths. gold,
And
whatever.
You need to, you need two guys that want to share the spotlight, that want to get in, make each other look good. And you can't, a guy like R-Truth has been a singles competitor for so long, and is he going to want to share the spotlight? Is he going to want to tag out and let his partner show off for a little bit and get the win? Or
Right.
is it always going to be? And it's not just those two. I mean, it's the tag team mentality. You need two guys that know their place and want to share the spotlight.
Right. Like a secret to a good tag team. One of the things is, okay, you get the pin this week, and maybe next week you get the pin.
Right.
Things like that.
It's not all about one or the other. It's each guy gets to show off what they got, and they complement one another.
Right.
And a part of that too is with like Devon and Bubba Ray, they had the tag team move together. They had the 3D, and Guerrero Martel used to have the double team moves together.
Legion of Doom had the Doomsday device.
Right,
That's a real good one. Good
And
example.
if you throw two guys together that aren't normally used to being together, you don't have that cohesive mentality.
Right.
And you don't have that finishing move or that special move where like the Flying Usos, and they both fly out of the ring. The
Frankensteiner. That's another example.
Oh, right, exactly, yeah. So
Going back.
you need two guys that have worked together and have a plan to make each other shine, and not just be, it's all about me, and then, oh yeah, I have to tag this guy in. So I'd like to see more focus on that division, or at least, with a 3-hour show, you can have a 20-minute block for tag team wrestling.
Exactly. They could even, make another tag team championship, because back in the day, I always talk about, I know I get old with it, but WCW had the U.S. tag titles and the actual World Tag Team Championship.
Right.
They could even do something like that if they really, really wanted to.
Well, you'd have to really increase the number of tag teams.
Right.
But I think just having those copper penny belts is fine. Unless they really want to do, a full forward and
Right.
end up having a full pay-per-view based on tag teams, which is something that TNA would do.
Right.
But
That also reminds me of the Lethal Lottery that they used to have.
yeah,
If you remember what that was.
yeah, and you pick your opponent and your partner.
You go.
Luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw.
Yeah.
That let's put it in terms of today. That'd be like Daniel Bryan, picking out his name, and the next person to pick out his name is Randy Orton,
Right.
or Triple H.
Yeah.
And now they got a team together.
Yeah, I mean that would be crazy.
Yeah.
And again, that would be something that Triple H, TNA would do.
Right.
I'm thinking they just had like the Joker's Wild tournament.
That's sort of like their Joker's Wild tournament in a way.
Yeah. But hey, we're talking about WWE, but if we can digress, talking about hitting the lottery, we got very, very fortunate this week, and we got an exclusive sit-down interview, which we had to film. The gentleman couldn't come live, and Aubrey St. John, our favorite correspondent,
Exactly. Our contributor.
actually set this up for us. I'm going to give her full credit.
We're getting another contributor.
Yes,
Yeah.
relatively soon. I don't know if we want to announce that.
No,
In the
I
segment.
don't. No.
But
We'll be talking about it in weeks to come.
But an up-and-comer on the independent scene, actually from Ohio, and you'll see this gentleman talk about it, had an appointment with a certain company in Stamford at a certain tower, and while he was in town, contacted Aubrey, and Aubrey was kind enough to give us the following interview. If we can run that footage.
Here we go.
My name is Aubrey St. John LaFemme, and I'm here for a Square Circle production. I'm here with none other than Jiraiya Zero. Jiraiya, thank you for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
Jiraiya, you're from Youngstown, Ohio. So tell us a little bit about where you come from.
Youngstown, Ohio. It's one of them places that pretty much you make it here, you make it anywhere. Only strong survive in Youngstown, Ohio. So, as you can see, I'm sitting here before you, so the strongest has survived.
So how long have you been wrestling for?
3.5 years now.
3.5 years. And who would you say to this day, who is your toughest opponent?
Well, to be honest, it's hard to call because face facts. I love competition. Too bad there isn't any, but I love this competition. They all fall to me sooner or later, one way or another.
So, what's going on for you this Saturday? I heard you were involved with something.
Yeah, there's this big 40-man battle royal going down, and to be honest, I'm just gonna dominate the whole thing, top to bottom. I'm just gonna finish everybody. Don't be shocked if I just eliminate absolutely everybody in it. But winner gets number one contendership for the title, which belongs to me in the first place. Because as much as I hate to tell anybody, you got your good, you got your bad, but there's absolutely nobody better. So
what number are you coming into this battle royal?
well, I wouldn't mind coming in at number one. I don't really care. I would love to have the first shot to come in and just take out absolutely everybody. But that's all to be determined. So I'll see when I get there, and so will the fans.
And where can the fans see this show at?
At St. Joe's, a provider. It's in Camel, Ohio, 44505 on Porter Avenue.
And that's this Saturday.
It's this Saturday.
Cool. So I heard you have a little feud going on with someone by the last name of my favorite drink, Martini. What can you tell us about Mr. Martini?
Oh, that guy. I'm so sick of that guy. Honestly, I'm going to tell you like this. The guy, I'll give him this. He's got potential, but the thing is, his head's too big. He's got these little hand-picked opponents just given to him. He ain't ever been pushed to that new level. So he thought at one point that he was just going to be able to come in, take me out, have it however way he did. Just how he was with all his other people. But he found out a show ago that I'm definitely that elite athlete. I'm a level that he ain't ever experienced. He found that out, and he found out his place that night, which was below zero.
So if Martini is watching right now, what would you tell him? Look at the monitor, and what would you tell him?
Honestly, I would tell you, Martini, you should thank me. Because let's face facts, you were living in this fantasy world thinking that all of these little hand-picked opponents that you was wrestling were so good and that you were doing something so major, and then you stepped in the ring with me and I showed you something awesome. I showed you something that you weren't ready for. And honestly, when I see you, because I know you're in this battle royal, first thing you should do is put your hand out and thank me. You need to thank me. Because you just realized that if you're going to achieve greatness, what you have to go through. So, I'll see you Saturday. And hopefully, you got some sense about you to do that, because let's face facts here, man. I'd hate to have to beat it, didn't you?
Well, I sure don't want to be Martini right now, even though I would go for Martini today, for Martini Mondays. But that's another topic. So I've seen you've done some work for WWE. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I got to do a couple of bookings for them, get in the ring a little bit, meet some of the guys there. So, life-changing experience being there with all those guys, you know, because WWE is what I like to call, like myself, elite. You know, those are the best of the best going in there every night. So it was good to get in there and get to learn from some of the best guys that there was to learn from. So it was definitely an experience I love having.
Who do you look up to the most?
You kidding? I'm my own hero. Who else could you look up to when you're at level elite? It's the highest level of reaching. All there is for me to look down. And sometimes even at a point where I did look up to someone, it has to be that point where you even have to look down on what you looked up on.
Okay, so we're at WrestleMania right now. You are the main eventer. Who's your opponent?
Shoot, best thing the fans could wish for me against myself. But since that's unbelievable about matters, who would it be? If I could take anybody out of any time period, rest his soul, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, Macho Man, the madness. And I seen a recent match of you against Tony Nese. He was giving you some good competition.
He cheated. He got cheated. There was nothing else behind it. He was super indie champ at the time. He wanted to keep his title. He knew he was outmatched. He knew he couldn't match anything I did. My power, my strength, my technique, everything. He was completely outclassed. So what else could he do but rake my eyes? But, hey, I'm not mad at him. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and everybody that steps in the ring with me, it's just that instinct that has to kick in. You don't have a choice because you know that you're outmatched as soon as the bell rings. So it's whatever. I'll get my hands on him again.
So if he's watching, what would you tell him?
Tell him exactly what he knows already. You got lucky. I'll see you again. And it's no big deal that you even got the first one. One small thing that people need to realize, yeah, you might have got the 1, 2, 3, but that doesn't mean you beat me. You got a long way to go with you. Title or no title. It's all about just pretty much who's better. And like I said, there's nobody better than me. So next time I get in the ring with you, I'll know what kind of stuff you're on. I mean, let's face facts here. You knew you couldn't beat me. It just means I have to be more brutal. It just means I have to shut you down faster. It just pretty much means, man, I'm just gonna have to go savage on you.
So you say that there's no one that can beat you, or that you would want to go against you. Who would you team up with if you had the chance?
Would I team up with if I had the chance? It's so funny because I really don't need anybody cornering me. One opponent, 2, 3, a whole locker room, it doesn't matter. The results are just inevitable no matter what you do. So I wouldn't really necessarily pick anybody, but just to answer your question, if I had to pick someone, absolutely had to. There's only one person close enough to being as ruthless, vicious, and just downright nasty enough that I wouldn't mind being there with. I would say it was Kano Josh Emanuel.
Is he from Ohio?
Yes, he is.
Oh, so I know you did a photo shoot recently. How was that?
Well, it's more or less you should ask the photographer how that was. I mean, let's face facts here. It was an honor for me to stand in front of his camera, for him to take pictures of me, but it went really good. I think we got some really good shots. You know, everything turned out good. I looked phenomenal as always.
So what were the shots for?
Well, a couple of them necessarily just getting different looks of things that might go on Model Mayhem, which work out really nicely for me. I've gotten a lot of looks from there. Actually, a lot of things that took off from there. A couple of things that'll be sent to WWE. Things of that nature. So much going on for me. It's just all about getting my name out there. I mean, let's face facts here. One thing that holds true, if you're going to say you're the best, you got to get out there and prove it.
So why should WWE call you today and give you a job?
Why shouldn't they is the question.
What can you bring to the table?
Absolutely whatever needs to be brought. I can bring absolutely anything. I'm as well versed as anybody they have there. So, like I said, why shouldn't they? Can you think of any reasons?
No, I want to see more of you in action. But where can the fans or promoters reach out to you?
Not necessarily the best place that you could probably get in touch with me is on Facebook. Just pretty much facebook.com/AriahZero. It's easy to do that. I mean, let's face facts here. There's no better way that you could possibly get in touch with me without getting in touch with me. So unless you're willing to fly all the way from wherever you want for me to tell you no or yes, it's just the best way to do it.
So I know that you're in the area for a couple of days, but you also have met with someone who's big in the area, Barnes Smith. What can you tell us about Barnes Smith?
Well, I gotta say, like, one of the main things that I've noticed all over my travels, because I've been traveling, I've been from California to New York and states in between. So necessarily one thing you always learn is there's always something different to learn. There's always somebody does something different. There's always something that you can use to make you better. Now necessarily I can say I'm the best, but the thing is I don't know everything. Even at your best, there's always something to learn. So it was honestly a humbling experience. It was good to be in there with him. I learned a lot from the man. Let's face facts, honestly. I hope he learned a lot from me.
So, besides Facebook, where can your fans reach you at? Are you on Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, just put in the name, Uriah_0. You can see me there. How it all works out.
So, I'm looking, you have a nice watch in your left hand. But what is this thing on your right hand?
Well, this is actually one of the things back home that we guys do. Like I said, only the strong survive where I'm from. So necessarily, if you necessarily want to grab one of these or a t-shirt, as you can see the name on here, Youngstown Strong. Go to youngstownstrong.com. Get t-shirts, these, all kinds of good stuff. Necessarily, like I said, Youngstown Strong, where the strong survive.
So, what is the name of the event on Saturday? What is the name of the company?
We are doing this for RAPW, which is Real Action Pro Wrestling.
And do they have a website where we can like get the tickets from or see who's
Yep,
on the
that's the
card?
way to do it. You go to Facebook, put in Real Action Pro Wrestling, the whole thing. That whole thing in there. It'll come up. Everything you need to know. Dates, flyer information, tickets, where tickets are available, whatever you need to do. That's where you look for Real Action Pro Wrestling.
So before we wrap it up, do you want to say anything to your fans or to any of the 39 guys from this Saturday?
Well, yeah, to all my fans, as much as I like to tell you you're welcome, you're all welcome. Everything I do for you guys. I mean, let's face facts here. But, in all honesty, I want to thank all of you guys too. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you. You guys show up, you support me. I even like the people that decide they want to throw stuff at me. You won't do it where I can get my hands on you. But, whatever. You show up, you pay your money. It's all good for me, you know. I'm sorry to all the guys that decided, you know, they were going to come to the show like they were going to take their kids to the show. Well, I'm sorry. It wasn't that at all. It was just pretty much your wife or your girlfriend or the girl that you were taking on a date just decided to spend your money to come take a look at me. So, I mean, thank you for that. Thank you for your patronage for that.
Well. Elijah M. Zero.
Uriah?
Uriah.
Yeah, I believe the J is silent. Uriah M0. We normally don't promote things, cards that far away. Ohio is quite a bit of a ride. But the gentleman in question, he did come in and train with Joseph Von Schmidt at PWA. And he had some wonderful things to say on his Facebook page about training with Joseph and his style. And he was actually able to learn something. And we've said that before. You go to different places, and the territories used to be you pick up a different style. You pick up different tips and ways to do things. So it's not the cookie cutter that WWE has become. So he definitely learns some different things at PWA. And he was very grateful for that.
Because that's basically what the indie scene is now. It's breaking. It's what the main national attention organizations used to be back in the day. It's all every state. Our state has PWA and a couple other organizations that run in from time to time. But a lot of your bigger states have much more in the way of indie promotions.
Without a doubt. But we're extremely grateful to not only Aubrey St. John, but to Uriah for coming on to the show and giving us this opportunity.
Very arrogant, very.
Hey, as he said, let's face facts.
Let's face facts.
That's what he does.
But
So
for such
I think that should be
for
his
such an
catchphrase, since he
upbeat,
hasn't said it like a dozen times.
upbeat, conceited kind of individual,
Hey, he's very confident. I'll say
he
that.
has a negative last name though.
Well, hey, you got to start at 0.
I guess. So maybe this next year he'll be Uriah M1?
And I'm sure his paycheck will have plenty of zeros.
Probably. If he has anything to say about it.
Correct. But I really see this gentleman having a huge career ahead of him. And you really couldn't tell his physique from that interview. But if you go onto his Facebook page or his Instagram, this guy is pretty jacked. And I watched him down at PWA, and he was getting in there with the big boys.
Right.
And he's got a huge future in front of him. And I'm happy to say that we had him here first. And you'll definitely see him.
Squared Circle exclusive.
Again. And thank you once again to Aubrey St. John for that interview. And she did an awesome job for us.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you again, Aubrey. Have to get her back on here again, live in studio.
Yeah, she took a little hiatus and was focusing on her other career. She does a lot of nightclub promotions, and is a performer herself.
Right.
And she's been focusing a lot on that, and she's had a huge amount of success. But she's always on the outskirts and looking in at the rest of the business.
Oh, exactly.
So, and we love her to death. She's such a sweetheart, and is always good to us. And she's the one that got us the exclusive with Devon right after he left TNA. And we can never thank her enough for all that she's done
nobody
for
else
us.
got that exclusive.
Nobody else got that.
Nobody did.
So,
But,
in HD.
in HD too, of course.
Mind you.
High quality. I got some injury updates here and some illness reports here. It's always sad to report on things like that, but Sunday night, John Cena was protected in a 6-man tag main event at a house show in Minnesota one night after suffering an eye injury, apparently.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice it.
There's a guy that needs to take some time off for, some healing.
Right,
But
because he's another one.
we don't see it happening. Hey, we got Bill on the line from North Haven.
We do? Let's do
welcome
that before we continue any further. Hi, Bill. You're live on the air.
Hey guys, it's Bill from North Haven. How are you?
Great,
awesome.
great.
Thank you.
Hey, first of all, it was great to see you guys at the event a couple of weeks ago. And get to talk to you for a while. So I missed a couple of one of your shows, and I also didn't get to really see too much of tonight. But I'm sure you guys brought up the whole thing with the Shield from WWE.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did.
And I'm not sure if you guys even talked about this. Do you think that they will find a third member to bring into the Shield, or what do you think they're going to do there?
We were actually talking about that. We were, there's some names coming in from Ring of Honor. One guy, Kevin Steen comes to mind.
I really think if they're going to put another member in Evolution, they're going to have to add another member to the Shield just for balance. So if they're going to continue on with the Evolution storyline and have Seth Rollins join Evolution, then we're going to have somebody else join the Shield.
Yeah, there's a guy, and I don't know his name, but I know it's a mask name, and I'm sure you guys heard of him. I think it's El Generico. Have you guys ever heard of him?
El Generico is currently working as Sami Zayn in NXT.
And
and I you know what? I've seen his some of his footage, and I think he's pretty good. I was thinking maybe they might bring him in because he's got some really. I saw a move he did. I think it was NXT where he dove through the ring, not the belts, the ropes there, but not through the inside where the pipe is. And I saw that move, and I was like, and I think he did it into a flying DDT, and I was like, I just kind of sat there with my head, and I had listened to something on the internet regarding it, and I pulled it up. I'm like, that was one of the most amazing moves I've ever seen. Not to mention the fact is you didn't get killed. Good jumping through that.
Really, I got to give him credit.
Yeah, when he was working as El Generico, he was doing a luchador gimmick, and that's where he got that style from. And a lot of that, you saw like the guys like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero working in that style, going back to like the what was it called, the middleweights, the featherweights?
Cruiserweights.
Thank you. Going back to that cruiserweight style and some of that lucha madness. So I would agree with you that he would be a dynamic presence to bring up, and he's doing wonderfully in NXT, and that could be a great addition. I agree with you 100%.
That would, I would say that's probably more of a choice than that Kevin Steen, because
Yeah.
Kevin Steen still has to
It's
pass
just
the
walking in the
physical.
door.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So if you want to go by seniority, it would be Sami Zayn, that's for sure.
But I will say it was a pleasure meeting you as well, and we've got an open door policy here. You can come on down and check us out, and you're always welcome to come on the show with us. And we love having you call in, and you get some great points out.
Yeah, listen, you were a lot taller than I thought you were going to be.
Yeah, the desk is kind of
Right.
deceiving.
I was like, wow, this guy's pretty tall. That doesn't do him justice on TV. And Jay, you're much better looking in person too.
Thank you.
But one last question, I'll let you go because I know it's late.
Yeah.
I can't even believe I'll bring this up, but TNA, I actually watched a full show last weekend. I got to say, it wasn't bad. It looked like it might be getting better. I know they're kind of stealing a little bit from the WWE. I'm not sure if you guys had seen any of the recent shows and what your thoughts were on that. And
I have yet to catch up on TNA. The last thing I saw was MVP turning heel.
Yeah, we've always said that the talent in TNA is top notch. They have some great workers there. They got, they've developed a lot of their own homegrown guys, and it's just their creative is like misdirected. Their production value has dropped tremendously, and just the overall presentation really needs to be tweaked. And honestly, I think TNA is on its last legs. The last tapings that they have scheduled, I believe, are in September, and the last TV airing in this current contract is in October. And I would not be surprised to see Spike TV let that contract expire and sign a deal with Jeff Jarrett's new promotion.
Right.
I think you're right. I've been following some of that too, and he looks like he's trying to find everybody who can do anything to push that new program. So.
Yeah, and if you think back, Jeff Jarrett was the guy that started TNA, and the first 10 years while he was running it, TNA was dynamic, and it was a clear alternative to what was going on in WWE. And
Instead of a copycat,
right.
which it is now.
And if Jeff Jarrett can, recreate that magic and do something that is an alternative, not just what Jim Ross coined as WWE Light, I really think that Jarrett can take over that slot on Spike TV and give us, a fair alternative.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to
I
see.
think you're 100% right, and
Thank you.
We'll have to see. But I think I think they're trying. I think that too much, too little, too late.
Amen. Yes,
The
sir.
Ring of Honor is having their first pay-per-view,
Yes.
a regular pay-per-view this coming Sunday evening.
Yes. And
Wow, yeah.
yeah,
Hey, maybe it'll just start to get interesting again, and get enough people out there, enough programs that we'll start to see some that elevates everybody's level. So
yeah, and then we have a reality show coming from Billy Corgan's wrestling organization in Chicago, and it's from what I understand, it's going to be more behind the scenes on running a wrestling company, but it is wrestling programming. So we may see a little competition out of that as far as ratings go. I haven't seen a time slot yet, but we'll see some new talent coming out of the Chicago area.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a lot of good talent out there. It's just I'm sure you guys do some of the same thing I do. You search the internet and you keep on finding some of these guys out there that are doing a good job, and they get a little bit more time out in the ring.
Yeah.
They definitely progress. So again, all good stuff. And listen, I know it's later. I'll let you guys go.
Thank you.
You got your final thoughts. Yeah, I'm going to make an effort to get down to you in the next couple of weeks.
Great.
Definitely.
Hey, I got one question for you though before you hang up. What was your take on PWA? That was your first event, correct?
No, I think that was my second.
Yeah, he was there once before.
Okay.
When you weren't.
I was there for the one they did where they had the ladders match.
Oh, okay. All right.
And you know what I liked it though. I like from my perspective, I thought that they kind of worked on a storyline a little bit more. I like the fact that what's the guy that came out at the end? He was huge, dressed in all white.
Mega Muerte. Yeah, he's a blast from the past. He came back, yep.
Yeah, he was definitely mega. A friend of mine, we were looking, we're like, that guy's huge.
Yeah, I love the swerve when they brought out the fat Mega Muerte. And they tricked us because...
We nearly fell off the balcony when he was just calling him fat. And I mean, that was kind of like the precursor as you went in. And I like some of the things that they brought up, as far as that. I like the fact that they did... a kind of a storyline with, was it Dickie Moon and the kid, the All-American kid wrestling those two other guys.
Grappling Greg, yep.
I think that, it'll be good if they can continue to do that. The fans can then follow and see, all right, this is like kind of a feud here, this is kind of a feud here with the normals. I think they could, build a little bit. Plus, they got their little, they got the internet stuff, so the fans can kind of follow along and they can build on that. So I think listen, I like the show. I think I told you guys before. I thought they did a great job. The first one I went to, and I think this one was good. Anybody who breaks on nice TV and during a wrestling match is okay with me.
All right, thank you once again for calling.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to hear Bill.
Yes.
Always a pleasure to hear from him.
Absolutely. We love the guy. And it was, like I said, it's a pleasure to meet him, and it's great to have fans out there. But we have to attribute the storylines to Joseph Von Schmidt. The guy knows what he's doing. He knows the business, and he knows the talent that he has around him. And these guys really step up, and each event, since we've been involved with PWA has increased in quality, and he's just getting better and better. And as Bill pointed out, there is a cohesive storyline, and you can follow it, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. And as he mentioned, Mega Muerte coming back. Us having seen him before, we knew that the overweight Mega Muerte, we knew the swerve was coming, and even though we knew it was coming, it was still fantastic.
Still fantastic.
Anyway, and Schmidt happens. So.
Schmidt happens. Like getting back to the injury updates real quick, because
we have a few minutes.
I got to tell a little story here after that. Nothing like anybody thinks. Like I said.
Well, why don't we get to your experience?
Yeah.
Because the injuries are out there, and we can put them on our
Injuries are
site.
out there. It's just Adam Rose with basically the same thing as Cena had, and Tamina Snuka underwent knee surgery. That's pretty much it.
With 5 minutes left.
But I want to talk about what I did over the weekend, and it required me to hop on the train in New Haven, walk all the way from Grand Central to Penn Station, went through beautiful Times Square, one of my favorite cities in the whole world, New York City. We hopped on a train, Penn Station, headed to Rahway, New Jersey, home of Pro Wrestling Syndicate, and got in line, and I met two of the biggest legends in wrestling, Bret the Hitman Hart and Booker T.
Yeah.
I did that.
Huge.
I spent about 12, and I got lost coming back, and it wasn't even my fault. Somebody else had a GPS, and I was following him. We got lost on the way from Penn Station back to Grand Central.
Oh, my goodness. I could walk there in my sleep.
And you could walk there in your sleep.
Oh, man.
I've never been to Penn Station. That was my first time at Penn Station.
Yeah, it's right underneath Madison Square Garden.
Right. I've never even been past Madison Square Garden. I'm usually just Times Square area.
Wow.
But I got to say, that was a great experience, and I was glad to spend the money and get the autographs.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Bret now knows I do a public access wrestling show. Unfortunately, he doesn't know the name.
Right.
But he can always Google me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I want to say that was a great experience. But my worst of the week, though, comes from an annoying security guard there who kept coming into line asking, who is here just to see Booker T? Once every 5 minutes.
Right.
And nobody was there just to see Booker T.
Right.
It's like, dude. Get a
no,
clue.
Right. No offense to Booker T, but the bigger name on that, on that bill was definitely Bret the Hitman Hart.
Exactly. We're there to see them both.
Right.
Right. I'm not going to go just to see one and the other. Especially when they're sitting right next to each other.
Right.
One was over here, one was over here. You can picture the room, but
Yeah, but Dylan and Jacob over the weekend on Saturday got to meet Scott Hall, Cody Hall, Christy Hemme, Matt Hardy once again, and at Northeast Wrestling and at Sonya. A great card, a lot of great talent, and a good time was had by them. And you can see pictures on our Facebook page from that event, and pictures from your visit with Bret the Hitman Hart.
exactly. Great picture.
Yeah,
I'm going to put that above the fireplace. I don't have a fireplace, that's right.
We'll have to build you one.
That's all. Just
We'll
to put
take
it
the one
above.
from the studio here.
Don't forget, too, June 21st, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame,
Yes.
the legendary Mario Mancini
Yes,
gets
among
inducted,
others.
along with Ron Zombie and a few others. The Fan Fest earlier today includes the likes of Harley Race, Joey Styles, Luke Williams from the Bushwhackers, Deborah, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Crystal Marshall, Jose Luis Rivera, Clarence Mason, Howard Finkel, Scott Putski, Maria Kanellis,
And more.
and more people.
Yeah, we'll be there for the Hall of Fame ceremony because our brother, our
Definitely.
good friend Mario Mancini, he opens up our show every week.
I might attend the Fan Fest.
Yeah, Mario.
It's up in the air right now for that.
I've got the catering all set for you, buddy. So right after that event, we're going to have Mario here as promised, and the catering is all set. So,
Wow. Exactly. And somebody told me the IC's having a party this Saturday.
Yeah,
My old group
there we go.
in Brantford.
Yeah. But, as we've hinted before, we've got some really huge news coming up, and you're going to want to stay with us. And it's going to be, you're going to have to be sitting down for that one, because it's ginormous. We got the details of it yesterday, as a matter of fact. And,
I approve.
yeah, it's fantastic.
This is
And
going to be quite an adventure.
we get to pull this off. It's going to be a game changer.
Right.
So
Definitely.
we definitely appreciate you tuning in. And last thoughts, we have a worst of the week.
Like
Other
I
than the
said, the
security
worst
guard?
of the week is that annoying security guard.
Yeah.
And the fans, I got to say, when Carlos Colon was there, it didn't really seem that too many people were at his table, from
Yeah.
what I gathered.
Yeah. Well, you have to be
I
old
think-
school.
I think
You have to
even
be
the newer
really
people don't realize
right.
who
Right.
he is.
You have to be really old school, and he just got into the WWE Hall of Fame this year, and people still don't know who he is.
Exactly.
But
And I'm just going to say TNA gets the bronze for that because they're TNA. I don't
Yeah.
even really watch them anymore. I can just imagine.
yeah, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but if you go to our our Facebook page, you can see that TNA had 3 events over the weekend, and it was like less than 1,000 people total for all 3 events, and that's just sad. It's really sad when indie workers are getting a lot more people to show up for their shows.
Exactly. More people attend indie cards.
Yeah, and if you listen to Talk is Jericho, he spoke with Bubba Ray, and he said that he had a vision for TNA, and creative just wouldn't listen to him and follow it. So he's just riding it out. He's got a contract. He's doing his
out,
job.
just like
and-
everybody else.
yeah, he's pretty much riding it out. But
Right.
he wanted them to do a lot more advertising, and let people know that they were out there, and trying to get some more people, more eyes on the show. But
Just didn't really work
yeah,
out.
their marketing is just horrible.
Gil Kim prefers wrestling for them, though.
Well, just because of the schedule, we went over that.
The
But
schedule.
with less than a minute to go.
I don't really have too much else to say. Like I said, don't forget the New England Hall of Fame.
New England Pro Wrestling Hall of
21st,
Fame.
And PWA's got some events coming up in New Hampshire.
Yes,
And
yes. Obviously, PWACT.com,
But for
Pro Wrestling
now,
Academy.
I am Hollywood J. Williams.
And I am John Zimmerman.
Good night and good luck, and we'll see you next week.
See you next Tuesday.